Hi, this is Cassidy Frazee, and I am...
Here we are. Let's see if this comes up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting the stream.
Let's mute this
yes, here we go.
Yeah, because I'm actually streaming live on YouTube today, and I'm watching the stream. It's interesting. You just probably heard a little of it come up, but I'm actually streaming live on YouTube right now. Almost live. There's a little bit of delay between what I'm doing here and what I'm saying, so it's really interesting. But what I want to talk about, this is my normal Saturday morning chat. What's been going on with me? As you can see, I'm all dressed. I'm ready to go. I've been up since like 4:30 this morning, and it's going to be a hot day. So I am actually I'm dressed for the heat. I have to go out and do some grocery shopping. I need to pick up a couple of items of clothing. Yeah, I've actually bought a new skirt and a new pair of boots. And I turned around and ordered like 2 more pair of boots yesterday. So I'm gonna have like a pair of dress boots and just day-to-days and stuff like that. And today I'm just wearing my skirt and my loose top. It's going to be a good day, and I'm also wearing my sandals for probably what's going to be one of the last times. They're actually getting to the point where they're starting to fall apart, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to wear these much longer, but I'm going to have to find a new pair of sandals. I've had these for 2 years now, and I never really thought I would get into wearing sandals until I actually started wearing them, and of course that came with the change. We know what that means. And before I transitioned, I never considered wearing sandals at all. I hated them. I didn't even want to think about it because I had really ugly feet. And now it's like summertime, sandals. I need my sandals. So now I'm going to have to go through the hunt of looking for a new pair of sandals, and that's going to be a pain in the butt. So how goes the novel? Well, the novel's coming along. Last night, I actually passed 29,000 words. I wrote about 400, almost 500 words last night. Getting to the point, and the goal I set for myself last night was I wanted to pass 29,000. So I did. That means there's a very good likelihood that this weekend I'll pass 30,000 words. And I've been working on the novel now for almost 2 months. I mean, I started on July 16th. Here it is, September 10, and September 16 would be 2 months. And by the time I get to 2 months, essentially in another week, next Friday, I'll probably have close to 35, probably 32, maybe, about 32,000 words. I hope. I should be there. I should be close to 32,000 words by the time I've been working for 2 months, which means if you look at it from that point of view, when I get to the 3-month period, the first quarter that I've actually been working on the novel, I should have upwards of close to 50,000 words. It'll be somewhere between 45,000 and 50,000 words, which means 6 months from now, 6 months down the road, from the time I started writing in around January 16th, I'll have close to somewhere between 90 and 100,000 words. And that means after a year, I should be right around the 200,000 word mark. Now, what does this mean for the novel? Well, I've already said this is probably going to be a big novel. I'm kind of half expecting it to be about, 400,000 words, maybe. I don't know. Maybe 350,000 words. Either way you look at it, it's probably going to take me a good 18 months to write this. And I started thinking about this morning, and it's like, okay, well, I finished this. That's the 3rd novel. Then I got 3 more to write to finish the series out. Is it really going to take me like about 8 years? Am I actually going to be about 68 or 69 years old when I finish this series? And there's a very good likelihood that's exactly what's going to happen. And in a way, it kind of makes me depressed that I waited this long to actually get started on it, because there's so many other stories afterwards that I would love to write. But unless I live to be like 85 years old, I'll never get a chance to write them. I would also have to be able to sit and write every day and maybe do 1,000 words or 2,000 words every day. That's the only way I can complete everything. I just kind of came to the realization that all these stories are probably going to go unfinished, and all I'll be able to do is just set up, a series of notes and whatnot and say, well, here's what happened to the kids. Which is kind of depressing. And that leads to one of the things I've been going through of late. It's been increasingly difficult this last month to write. And a lot of that is due to my ongoing depression. I make no secrets of the fact that I suffer from depression. And of late, I come home at night from work and I feel exhausted. I don't feel like doing anything. I really just get to the point where it's like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And it's been showing up in my work. A lot of times I'll just sit there and I'll go, I don't really feel like writing. And sometimes I have to force myself. Like last night wasn't too bad, and the night before wasn't too bad. But there have been a couple of instances where I've just really forced myself to sit down and say, okay, this is what I need to do. And it's hard to do. It's hard to write, and that's why some nights, I struggle to get 300 or 400 words. And it might just be, maybe it's part of it, the environment. I seem to write better when I'm out in public, when I go down to the coffee shop and I write. I seem to actually do pretty good. I can crank off 500, 600, 700, 800 words without a problem. But here, maybe I just need to change the venue. Maybe I need to stop being depressed, but that's easier said than done. And it's not always the easiest thing in the world to do. Unfortunately, that's my life. And I can't afford to go into therapy and do anything about it, so what are you going to do? But I will just keep writing as much as possible. But it did come to me this morning. It's like, you're never going to tell all the stories about Annie and Carrie that you always wanted to tell. I mean, I could probably write a lot in the next 20 years, but that's assuming I live to be 80. If I live to be 85, I'll live 25 more years. I'd actually have to be making a living off my writing to be able to do the things that I want to do. And we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Yeah. Depression. See, it's a never-ending cycle. And, it ties into today. The 10th of September is Suicide Prevention Day. This is a day when, if you're suffering, you should take steps to try to remedy it. If you know someone who's suffering, you should take steps to try to help someone. And I think I've mentioned before, I've had my own history with suicide. I failed an attempt back, actually close to 40 years ago now. Actually, it is 40 years ago. First time I tried suicide, I was 19 years old. I swallowed some prescription painkillers trying to end it all, and I ended up getting sick and throwing up, and that was the end of my attempt. But it's also one of those things that's just with me all the time. You hit situations where you just want it to end. And I get there. I get there a lot. It's a struggle for me sometimes. I don't make any excuses or try to hide the fact that, yeah, I do struggle with suicidal ideation. I do struggle with suicidal impulses. And so far the struggle, I've been successful, but sometimes I think the odds just aren't in my favor, and eventually they're going to win out. That's another one of those things. We'll see. If it should happen, you'll be the second to know. Because it just won't show up any longer. It'll be a sad day for everyone. Of course, I won't be around to worry about it, but I know, macabre humor. And sometimes black humor is needed in instances like this, because you can sit there and laugh at it and go, I won't be worrying about it. And it is true, but at the same time, it's also a bit depressing that you actually need this sort of macabre humor to get you through. But let's move on to something happier. I spoke with the woman who's actually doing the book cover for A for Advance, and she relayed to me the fact that she had tried doing the book cover the way I wanted to do it, my specific idea that I had, and she said she just couldn't make it work. So she asked me last night. I think what she was trying to do was she does digital photo manipulations, which are really good, but she asked me last night, she says, do you have a problem with digital art? And I was like, no, I don't have a problem with digital art as long as it looks good. All I want is a nice cover. That's it. I've seen some real shit out there. I used to go out to bad book covers all the time until I realized, just in some ways, just kind of how sad some people, they put out their books and their covers are really kind of nasty, and you just wonder, my God, what were you thinking? And I stopped going out there because of that. It just got to be kind of depressing to see some of the things that are out there. And it's not just people who self-publish. I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and there were some notoriously horrible covers, especially if you read science fiction and fantasy. There were some notoriously horrible covers that were done, that were professionally produced. And you really do kind of have to sit there and go, what the hell were people thinking when they did this? You just look at it and you go, that had nothing to do with it had nothing to do with the story. Where did they come up with this? Some of it is just ridiculous. But that's one of the things that really, I think, kind of hurts the whole self-publishing genre, is that the things that you need to make your novel successful, a good cover, editing, all that stuff, it costs so much money. And I understand it. I mean, I'm not asking people to actually offer their services for free, because I'm a creative person. I don't want to give my stuff away. I don't expect an editor or illustrator to give their stuff to me for free just because I'm struggling. But it does make it difficult for everything to work. You basically want to have a good presentation and stuff, and you just go with what you can afford, and a lot of times that ain't much. It reminds me of something one time that a guy I used to game with. He was asking me about self-publishing books, and he said, are there any good books out there that are in the self-publishing genre, in the self-publishing area, that aren't like full of mistakes and typos and stuff like that? And I said, well, why do you want to know? And he goes, well, my wife, she reads a lot of self-published work, and she's constantly complaining about the fact that, there's all these typos and all this other crap and bad formatting and whatnot. And I said, well, how much is she what kind of books is she downloading? How much is she paying for this stuff? And he goes, oh, she's not paying anything for it. She always downloads the free books. And I just kind of look at him out of the corner of my eye, and I said, you do realize that you're basically just getting stuff that's like one step above fan fiction, and that if she's complaining that there's like typos and bad editing and stuff inside free ebooks that she's downloading, maybe she should try paying for something once in a while, because as I always used to like to say, you do get what you pay for, and if you're paying nothing, you got to keep those expectations kind of low. And he just kind of looked at me like, well, yeah, I understand that, but she doesn't get it. And I said, well, she should get it, because that's just the way it goes. You can't expect to have somebody just put something up on the internet and it's going to be perfect. I mean, I put shit up on the internet all the time that was never perfect. But for the most part, I was putting it up. It was free. So it's like, you don't like it. Oh, you found a typo? Oh, well, excuse me. Would you like a refund on that free read you had? I'm such a bitch. So, I'm really hoping to see a cover here really soon. I'm hoping. I want my covers so bad. I just want my covers. And I need to get back into the editing of the first novel. Even if all I do is like set aside an hour a day on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, to do editing. I need to do this. I need to get back into it. Get Act 1. Oh, excuse me. Get Act 1 edited and be ready for it to go. If and when, I'm ready for it to go. So, we'll see. But that's really all I wanted to cover. And it's a long, rambling post here. But, hey, live streaming straight to YouTube, and who knows? I'm really getting good at the live streaming. I did a live chat on Facebook last week, so now you know. Maybe my legion of fans. Yeah, see, now somebody popped in. I just noticed it. Somebody just popped in to see what I was doing here. But who knows? Maybe you'll see more of this in the future. I don't know. But I am loving it. I do love actually being able to come in and live stream this stuff. It makes it really easy, and we'll see how it goes. So that's me. That's Cassidy. Saturday morning. I've got stuff to do. I got makeup to put on. And I hope your day is good. So, and for whoever popped in at the last moment here, hey, this was just kind of a test. This is going to show up on my blog later, so don't worry. So I'll talk to you all soon.